French Montana say that you paid for the star, but once you get nominated, everybody pays for the star. That's what I was always told.
Yeah, but look, I don't know what's wrong with that kid. Like, something's wrong with him. You know what I mean? Like,
it's engagement, man.
No.
You took it to the desert. You taking it back. The promo was
because I'm looking at it. Listen, I'm looking at it, and congratulations, but my mano. What did the dude do the sandwich? The Ak way?
The Aki way.
Don't get the Aki way. Stay focused. They always tell you they the prince or they the this, they all full of shit. They just own a business where they make a lot of money. This guy really got engaged to the Princess Al Maktoum of Dubai. You and your fiance, don't mess up.
So this is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
you know, so I usually do my homework. I'll find somebody who knows somebody or something. If you give me some information, like, who is it? Like, who is he? And, you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
I had all of it.
Good for a loan. I go to French Montana and get a loan now. Like, I'm good for the loan. That ain't even 188 million. That's trillions. He's part of a, yo. Oh, we gonna find you in Sudan. Don't mess up. Sudan is where they're not coming to rescue you. Yo, hey, I'm happy for my brother. Nobody loved French Montana more than me. You do know I got his first song to play on Hot 97 with Funk Flex. Nobody want to play his song. They blocking him. They just, you know, look at his documentary. He gives Fat Joe the credit. He from the Bronx. I know him since he was a kid.
Together, Joe and 50 didn't hold back. They came at it from two different angles. Joe with his brotherly warnings, and 50 with his trademark sharp edge clowning the situation. What came out wasn't just commentary. It was a masterclass in reality checks from two men who've been burned and survived. Fat Joe looked at French Montana's marriage like a mentor. His tone was heavy, serious, and rooted in experience. He spoke about contracts, money, loyalty, and the risks of trusting too quickly. Meanwhile, 50 Cent approached it the way only 50 can, with jokes, sarcasm, and clown energy, making fun of French for rushing into something so reckless.
It's engagement, man.
No.
You took it to the desert. You taking it back. The promo was
because I'm looking at it. Listen, I'm looking at it. And congratulations, but my mano. What did the dude do the sandwich? The Ak way?
the Aki way.
Don't get the Aki way. Stay focused.
The combination was brutal but effective. Joe laid out the dangers, and 50 laughed at the idea that French thought he could escape them. Together, their words painted a picture of a marriage walking straight into fire. Joe warned French about money, how marriage ties your empire to another person, how courtrooms don't care about love, only assets. He hammered the point that without legal protection, French could lose millions. 50 Cent, on the other hand, laughed at the idea that French even had enough to protect. He teased the whole situation, making it sound like French was setting himself up to be robbed blind, like another rapper who let emotions outweigh business sense. The seriousness of Joe mixed with the mockery of 50 created a 1-2 punch that made the money trap impossible to ignore. Joe emphasized that motives always need to be examined. Is this marriage built on loyalty or lifestyle? Is it about love, or is it about French's fame and access?
Table, and I'm sure there were some other ones also.
I came to Steve Rifkin
when I had Chopper down. I walked in the office, it was him and Gabi. And Gabi was manager. I was like, yo, Steve, give me $200,000. Let me go make music. You know what I'm saying? Just let me. Steve was like, nah, I'll give it to you.
Never got it.
I dropped.
Which is funny because Gabi's the president of SRC. Steve is like the CEO, but
so I don't know what type of
but
weird.
Steve makes the final call.
Yeah. So I asked for $200,000. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
50 Cent didn't even entertain the positive side. He flat out clowned French, suggesting the whole thing looked desperate, like he rushed into it just to prove something to the world. The contrast was sharp. Joe tried to give French the benefit of the doubt, while 50 laughed at the very idea that loyalty could even exist in the entertainment world. Both men agreed on one thing: the hip-hop curse. They've seen it play out too many times. Marriages in this industry don't last. The spotlight magnifies every problem. The media turns every crack into headlines. What should be private becomes public drama. And once the blogs smell blood, they never stop. Joe explained the dangers calmly, pointing out how French could protect himself. 50 didn't care about protection. He just mocked the whole idea, pointing out how fast these things usually crumble. For once, the clown and the mentor were on the same page, even if they got there differently.
Collar comes out, like we said, and now you have real deals on the table. And out of all those, you go with Diddy.
That's not how it really went.
Was it Diddy? Was it Bad Boy MMG?
Yeah, I went to go see Ross. And Ross was like, I got an opportunity for you. I don't have the money for you, but I got the opportunity. I guess because the same thing Meek did, the same thing Wale did. I guess whatever the way the situation, his label was, he wasn't trying to give me the money I wanted. And I wanted like a whole bunch of money. But he was like, look, let's do it like this. Let's go Puff. And let's get him to give you the bag. You can still be MMG / you know what I'm saying? Bad Boy, Coke Boys, yep.
Right. How much money did you get?
$2 million.
50 Cent laughed again, turning it into a joke about how French won't even pass the first test. He ridiculed the idea that anyone in the game could have a marriage last, let alone French Montana. But even in his jokes, the truth was there. Pressure exposes everything. The power of hearing both Fat Joe and 50 Cent talk about French's marriage is that it came from two different energies: the wisdom of a survivor and the savagery of a clown. Joe gave the serious warnings about contracts, money, loyalty, and legacy. 50 added the punchlines that made the dangers look ridiculous. Together, they delivered one message: French Montana isn't ready for what he just stepped into. This marriage could either be the greatest blessing of his life or the decision that ruins his career and reputation forever. At the end of the day, Fat Joe and 50 Cent agreed on one thing: marriage in hip-hop is not a love story, it's survival. Joe wanted to see French protected and prepared, while 50 wanted to see him humbled and exposed. But both voices made it clear that this move is dangerous. French Montana might see his marriage as a victory, but when the kings of hip-hop speak, the culture listens. And their message was loud. This isn't the beginning of a fairy tale, it might just be the beginning of a fight for everything he owns. Joe reminded the culture that weddings are a party, but marriages are survival. He broke down how easy it is to put on a show for the cameras, but how hard it is to keep a relationship real when money, fame, and temptation are everywhere. 50 Cent jumped in clowning, saying French already looked like he cared more about the photos than the vows, that it was a performance, not a partnership. The balance of Joe's serious tone and 50's jokes hammered the point home. Fat Joe took a serious angle about the press, warning French that every fight, every rumor, and every whisper will become a headline. He explained how the media doesn't wait for truth. They profit off chaos. 50 made it even worse, joking that French's marriage will be season 2 of Love and Hip Hop before the honeymoon even ends. He clowned that the blogs are already writing the divorce stories before the ink on the marriage papers dries. Joe emphasized French has to protect his empire. Businesses, royalties, investments, all of it is at risk if he didn't handle his paperwork. 50 clowned again, saying French didn't even read half his contracts, so what makes him think he's reading a prenup? He laughed that French probably signed the marriage license like it was an autograph. Joe warned that loyalty tests come quicker than people expect. He said the first argument, the first scandal, or the first time money slows down, motives will reveal themselves. 50 added his twist, saying French won't even pass the honeymoon, joking that he's already failed the loyalty test by rushing into it without thinking. Joe pointed out the curse. Rappers don't last in marriages. The spotlight kills privacy, and temptation is everywhere. 50 agreed for once, but still laughed, saying the curse is undefeated. He mocked French for thinking he'd be the one to break the curse when bigger names with more money couldn't survive it. Joe explained how the same fans celebrating now will turn once drama starts. They'll screenshot every slip-up, every rumor, and clown French until his name trends for the wrong reasons. 50 made it harsher, saying he'll lead the charge himself. He joked about making memes and Instagram posts the second French's marriage goes sideways. Joe stressed that marriage won't save a chaotic lifestyle. If French thinks walking down the aisle makes him mature, he's wrong. It just exposes every bad habit faster. 50 doubled down with jokes, saying French probably thinks a wedding ring is like a reset button, when in reality, it's just a spotlight on all his flaws. Joe got dead serious about divorce court. He painted the picture of lawyers tearing apart bank accounts, every secret exposed, and millions lost. 50 laughed at the image, saying French would walk into court looking like he just left a casino after losing everything in one night. He mocked that the judge wouldn't even need to bang the gavel. French would already be broke. Joe told French this marriage isn't just personal, it's about legacy. The culture will remember how he handled it. If it collapses, it becomes part of his story forever. 50 mocked the idea of legacy, saying the only thing French's marriage might leave behind is a headline and a bad meme. But underneath the clowning, the message was the same. French's name is tied to this decision. The most powerful part was the way Joe and 50 balanced each other. Joe was the mentor, laying out cold facts and warnings. 50 was the savage, turning those same truths into clown material. Together, they created a perfect storm. The reality check French Montana didn't want, but needed. Joe pointed out how rushed the marriage looked, almost like French didn't give himself time to breathe, let alone think. Joe stressed that moving too fast is a classic mistake that leads to disaster. 50 turned it into a joke, saying French treated marriage like it was a last-minute studio session. No planning, no structure, just vibes. He laughed that French probably booked the wedding the same way he books a feature. Joe warned that in hip-hop, weakness is weaponized. The second French's marriage shows cracks, rivals and haters will drag his name through the mud. 50 leaned in, saying he'd personally use it for content. He mocked that French's enemies won't even need diss tracks. They'll just point to his marriage and laugh. Joe explained that artists often think marriage equals maturity, but in reality, it only magnifies what's already broken. If French wasn't stable before, marriage won't make him stable now. 50 clowned the illusion, saying French probably thought a wedding ring would give him boss points, when really it just gave the culture a bigger target to laugh at.